brought to you by Mad Voice and Data Consulting for Business. Call Patrick Antonio at 407-283-7832 or email him at patrick@madvoicedata.com. If you want to be a part of actual change in your community, this is the episode to do it. You vote and then you be active with the local community organizers. You're a part of that, and you're a restaurant that's a part of that. There's a good possibility that the Sanford Sitdown Food Review might food review your food review. I'm so sick right now. The Peeping Toms in the state of Florida? That is a place where you might find yourself full of holes. Ex-cop assigned to Seminole High School arrested, accused of lewd comments toward students. Jesus. All right, well, let's see. Can you imagine? You're waiting for your ride. It's an hour, and you ordered it with enough time to get to your work. You're going to have to, buffer for 2 hours? And then, Scout gets there on time, and now you're going to have to sit there at work for 45 minutes? Hey, this is Future Zwain, bringing you the first Sanford Sit-Down Food Review.
Oh, yeah!
Sanford, Florida, where the past and present dance like a jitterbug on the St. Johns River. Founded in 1877 by Henry Sanford, this city was once the celery capital of the world. Its fields feeding the nation, steamboats puffed along the river bringing settlers and goods to this bustling hub. By the roaring 20s, the town thrived and the Grand Hotel Forest stood tall until scandal saw it shuttered. But like a phoenix, it rose again as the Mayfair Inn, welcoming baseball greats and high society. As decades passed, Sanford weathered storms, booms, and busts, but its heart never wavered. Today, with a lively downtown, craft breweries, and a nod to its rich history, Sanford stands proud with a charming blend of old Florida grit and new Florida flair. And it's with that spirit that we give you the Sanford Sit-Down.
Oh, yeah!
Coming soon. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sanford Sit-Down. Coming to you live from Zwain Manor tonight because just a lot of stuff going on. We have a lot of stuff going on right now. It's a brand new year, so Happy New Year to all who celebrate. We thank you for hanging out with us, whether it's the recorded version, the live version, etc., etc., etc. First of all, I was supposed to start this show 2 hours ago. I had not had any sleep because I slept like absolute garbage all night. I wasn't able to do the show, to get up on time. I literally 5 in the morning, 3 in the morning. I don't need to give you details, but it was not a great time. We had to move the show up a couple hours, and move down, down a couple hours. So we are here, the Sanford Sit-Down, brand new show. We also have a new segment coming up. We'll talk about that a little later, called the Sanford Sit-Down Food Review. There seems to be some excitement about that, so that's kind of cool. But first and foremost, we need to cover some housekeeping notes. Where are Joe and Christina? They haven't been on a show together since the Fair Villa show, which I believe was 2 episodes ago. And the reality is that I say some wild stuff sometimes, and that can be politically inconvenient, let's call it. So Christina isn't here today because she is officially running for mayor of this fine city, and she is going to be concentrating on that for the time being. That doesn't mean we won't have her on or anything like that, but she's just concentrating on winning the election, and I'm very much here for it. I'm very much happy that she is doing that, getting back into politics. I think that's a good move, and I think that she is the right person for it. Joe, on the other hand, is deep in getting ready for the Red event at Fair Villa. She's doing Miss Fair Villa things, as she always does during this time. I'm also getting ready for it, so I'm taking a break to do the show and then jump back on. She's going to be part of the show still. She's still one of the co-hosts. I want her to do this dating segment that we talked about before, because I think that she would be really good for it, and who better than Miss Fair Villa to do it? So I think I'm gonna talk to her about that tomorrow. Tomorrow, she and I are going to to Tom and Dan, so hopefully you guys catch us on that too. She's in a high-level position in a professional company. Like, I can't. You got to be careful sometimes with the with the things that you do and say and associate with publicly. So I understand it. I get it. I am a person that says some fringe stuff, and the last thing I want to do is for either of my friends to get hurt over something I said. So while my friends aren't here, I'm going to go ahead and say a few things just to reset the table, but also to kind of say things that I'm able to say here that they don't have to co-sign on. So the fact is that I say some pretty fringe adjacent stuff, and my views don't come out of nowhere, though. You know, like they're my positions, and I stand by them. You know, I stand by them whether locally when it comes to the sit-down, the Sanford Sitdown, or when it comes nationally with the Hijack, the other podcast that I do, shameless plug. But my views didn't come out of nowhere, and that's the thing that I want to emphasize. You know, they've changed drastically over time. If you ask my tattoo artist, Bear, he would tell you that when he met me, I was an evangelical right-winger. That's where I started. And now I'm very much not that. My animosity isn't really towards people, it's towards systems and toward a ruling class that benefits from an unfair setup where your zip code predicts your future better than, you know, any effort that you might actually do. And yeah, a lot of that comes from growing up believing in the Palestinian Jewish guy who would die for his friends, only to be told later that caring about the least of these somehow made me weak. So with all that said, I agree with many of the positions that Christina holds, but even when I don't agree with her, or even when she disagrees with me, I know that she genuinely prioritizes the town that she grew up in, and I respect the hell out of that. You know, even when I disagree with her, I know that there is that she's thinking about the good of the city. And so, yeah, so that's, I guess that would be an endorsement. I'm going to vote for Christina. You do what you want, but I think that she is great, and she would be good for the city. But I am bummed, obviously, that my friends aren't here, but I'm pretty excited right now because we have our first official sponsor. Shout out Mad Voice and Data Consulting for Business. Shout out to Patrick Antonio. Listen, if you have a business and you're looking at your communications bill and it looks like it's too much and you're like, why am I paying so much? Is there a better rate? Call Patrick Antonio, Mad Voice and Data Consulting for Business. You can actually reach Patrick at madvoicedata.com. That's Patrick at madvoicedata.com, or you can call him 407-283-7832. That's 407-283-7832. Of course, he's a Sanfordite. He's a Sanfordian. He is from Sanford. And he's a great guy. If you want to talk to him a lot, talk to him about the Beastie Boys. Talk to him about music. A wealth of knowledge. And that's coming from a DJ, so, you know. But anyway, thanks, Patrick, for being the first official sponsor of the Sanford Sitdown. And, yeah, man. So, you know what? I wanted to start with some good news. The good news is that we have people doing good things. And one of those is my buddy Greg Runge. Greg has Safe Ground Sanford. They have a community-driven cleanup project. There are businesses out here that want to see their streets get cleaned, and he is having our unhoused friends clean up the town, and you could be a part of it. And it's a community cleanup, mutual aid. It's in downtown Sanford. If you want to be a part of actual change in your community, this is the episode to do it. You vote, and then you be active with the local community organizer. You have companies here that have been here since like the early 2000s that have become staples of this town. And they've done great work, and they've done great charity, and I've seen it with my own two eyes. This is another level of that, and I'm super excited that Greg and the Ground Score crew are going to be doing more of that. So if you want to be a part of it, if you look at the screen, there's a QR code. I've left it up the whole time so that you can just screenshot it, and you can be a part of it as soon as you screenshot that QR code. So that is the Ground Score crew by Sanford Safe Ground. So thank you to Greg Runge, and thank you to the people that are making that possible. And if you're a part of that, and you're a restaurant that's a part of that, there's a good possibility that the Sanford Sitdown Food Review might food review your food review. I'm so sick right now. Anyway, so. Another thing we got to do some of the bad stuff. Unfortunately, A peeping Tom locally. This happened a few days ago.
It's an odd video. A man wrapped in a green blanket sits on a Sanford woman's front porch, gets up slightly to look in the living room window, then leaves. Thursday, the woman who lives in this neighborhood agreed to speak with me as long as we did not identify her. But you can see by the shaking of her hands, this has gotten to her.
I'm getting emotional, but when someone is asking for help, believe her.
She says the online community was not helpful when first posting this video on social media to warn neighbors, but police have been. Thursday, they posted this on social media saying they were called out December 23rd around 12:40 in the morning. After talking to that victim and going through this police report, I found out she first heard that man outside of her home on November 11th. But after reviewing some of her surveillance video, she says he's been coming to her property since at least October, and his behavior is escalating.
I have at least 40 times documented at this point. I used to just be trying to peep in windows, and now it's climbing over onto my front porch to get a better view, jumping over my fence, going through my trash.
New video she shared with Wesh 2 shows what looks like him turning on a digital camera. She's since put out several of her own cameras, but says he is not stopping, leaving her and her daughter living in fear.
She's 16. So anytime she comes home at night, I have to walk her out to her car. She carries mace with her, so she's terrified.
Now she's asking you take a good look, and if you live in the area, review your own home cameras. Covering Seminole County in Sanford, Lindsay Sablon, Wesh 2 News.
Wow. Yeah, that's scary. Now, again, that was on the 22nd, so there is hopefully that has been resolved, but 40 times. 40 times. And you know what? I'll tell you this. The people that do that kind of stuff, the peeping Toms in the state of Florida, that is a place where you might find yourself full of holes. If you're a peeping Tom in Florida, I can't imagine, wow. Wow. But, yeah, so if you see anybody doing something suspicious like that, let people know. Let people know. But let's see here. Ex-cop assigned to Seminole High School arrested, accused of lewd comments toward students. Jesus. All right, well, let's see.
Developing now, this school resource officer arrested in Seminole County. He's accused of inappropriate conduct with a 17-year-old at Seminole High School. Fox 35's Larissa Leone has the details.
Well, you can't tell right now, but right behind me there was a large police presence earlier today. And that's because while on shift as the school resource officer at Seminole High School, the Sanford Police Department says Pedro de Silva allegedly made an inappropriate comment to a 17-year-old girl, took his phone out and showed her several inappropriate pictures of himself. Sanford police say this is just one example out of a number of interactions de Silva has had with this student between the time frame of October 2025 and December 17th, 2025. On December 17th, the Sanford Police Department was notified by one of their officers that De Silva was engaging in inappropriate communication with a student. The department says immediately after receiving the information, the chief met with De Silva and removed him from his position and fired him. We spoke to a parent about how he feels about this news.
It's a huge issue because you've got resource officers at every school, and you really depend on rules to be followed.
Now, we have reached out to the Sanford Police Department about this case. They said they did not have time to interview about it today. In Sanford, Larissa Leone, Fox 35 News.
That's so wild. The fact that there is that a police officer is in there and has that kind of power is you got to be really careful with who you give that kind of power to, because honestly, this kind of stuff I've heard happens so much at this point that there's got to be a better way to weed these people out. There's got to be a way. This can't be the first time that this dude had an encounter like that. This was the first time he got caught, obviously. And obviously there were a bunch of people were saying that there were a bunch of other instances, but think about that. He was from July to December of 2025, the resource officer over there. The Sanford police identified him in January 14th of 2026. So he was fired on December 17th, and then he got arrested. I guess I'm glad he's out of there. But again, with all of this type of like misconduct happening, we need to be a lot more careful as to who we give these things to, these badges and these guns to. And this authority in general. It doesn't have to be a badge and a gun, although that helps. But you can hurt somebody by just having power over them that doesn't have to be physical. That happens way too often, because I'm sure that this guy didn't pull out a gun. This was just like a power thing, and yeah, and he was just taking advantage. He was grooming, obviously, and at the very least grooming. Here's a story locally that has that gives me mixed feelings. Okay, I have mixed feelings about this story because I know what happened with Uber. The LYNX routes are being taken down, and it's being replaced with this Scout. Have you seen these Scout cars that are like Uber but very, very cheap, I guess? They're basically making a government subsidized taxi service. But let's hear what Channel 6 has to say.
Most LYNX bus routes in Seminole County are going away for good. I'm your community correspondent, Mark Lehman, and on January 11th, 8 routes are being eliminated. Now, some say this change is something that's going to cost them a lot of time and money, including one woman I spoke with. She says that if she switches routes, it'll be an hour extra to her commute, and she doesn't think she can afford the alternative.
It's hurting all these people.
Penny Car depends on LYNX and the Fern Park bus stop to get to work every day. After this weekend, the stop and her route are going away.
I have to get off at the Sunrail train station and walk all the way down to go up to 1792.
How much more time do you think this is going to cost you?
It's going to, for me to walk, 28 minutes.
On January 11th, Seminole County is eliminating 8 bus routes because of low...
She said 28 minutes. That means she has actually made this trip.
Ridership and high costs. The county pays about $17 million a year for LYNX, but estimates less than 4,200 people actually use it.
Go all the way out there. I use that like 3 times a week. Come here 3 times a week, too.
Sean McMurray says he's tried Seminole's new alternative. Scout is an on-demand micro-transit service, but riders have complained about delays for pickup.
And I've been on that new thing, and it's kind of, you have to wait. I waited like an hour for a ride.
County leaders say there's increased flexibility with the Scout service, and it's more cost-effective. The transition, however, may be difficult for some who have questions about what to do next.
You depend on this bus, right?
I depend on it. But I got to figure something else out now.
Now, after this weekend, there will still be 4 routes running in Seminole County. We posted the changes to those routes under this story on QuickOrlando.com. Reporting in Fern Park, I'm your Seminole County community correspondent, Mark Lehman, News 6.
And according to the story, the areas that are going to be affected are going to be the LYNX 34 US 1792 in Sanford, LYNX 45 in Lake Mary, LYNX 46E East 1st Street in downtown Sanford, LYNX 46 West in State Road 46 Seminole Town Center, so that's Seminole Town Center one, LYNX 103 North 1792 in Seminole Town Center, LYNX 434 in Seminole County, and 822 NL 822 in Oviedo, and NL 851 in Sanford. So those are the LYNX buses that are going to be eliminated, and they want you to use this Scout system. And Scout is, here's the thing about Scout, it reminds me of when we first were given Uber, where I believe the rides are really cheap. They're like $4 or something like that, to get you into a lot of the areas. But the problem is that what I am afraid is going to happen is some other version of what happened with Uber. You see, the reason that Uber was so cheap back in the day, when we first started using it, is because it was being subsidized. It was being subsidized by the investors so that we got used to it. I'm afraid that this is going to be another one of those things where, yeah, right now it's $4, but maybe in, a year or 2 years, it's going to go up. And maybe it's just going to be like, because I think it's a Scout might be a combination private and government situation. But I'll have to look more into that. But that's really concerning to me. Because, and yes, we need better transportation. We need better public transit. That is a given. We are, especially in Florida, it is abysmal. But really, the entire country, for the most part, has awful public transit. And we do need to make it better. Some variation of this maybe, sure, but between the delays that they're talking about, like that makes it, can you imagine? You're waiting for your ride, and it's an hour with enough time to get to your work. You're going to have to buffer for 2 hours, and then the Scout gets there on time, and now you're going to have to sit there at work for 45 minutes because anyway, it needs two things. It needs to actually be subsidized. It should not be more than LYNX bus routes. However you make that happen. That's, I'm not an organizer. I don't, that's not what I do. I talk on a microphone. And I spin records. That's what I do. You're a community organizer. Fix it. Figure it out. And I think that is my biggest concern with this new Scout type of system. Sanford Herald put something out. Taylor Kaufman, the correspondent there, said that on January 11th, 2026, the county officially said goodbye to most LYNX routes in favor of the county's new microtransit service, Scout. Well, there have been some overlap between the old and the new since Scout's launch back in October. The reduction of the LYNX routes marked the new service's first opportunity to land on its own, and by all accounts, it's doing remarkably well. Okay, well let's hope that continues. It says the transition away from Seminole County's LYNX routes began last spring when the Board of County Commissioners resolved to find an alternative to spend $17 million per year to the county's LYNX routes. Many of which weren't even being used. I understand that. Well, it's because they were... Anyway. Instead of a fixed route system like LYNX, Scout offers riders an on-demand system similar to Uber and Lyft. The base fare is $4, but with discounts for the elderly, disabled, and students, low-income riders, and Sunrail passengers, many fares end up being $1.50 to $2. That's wonderful. That's great. Ever since Scout soft launch in September of 2025, followed by its official debut on October 15th, the team behind the new service has been hard at work trying to ease residents into the new system, hosting tabling events, surveys to teach people how Scout works and get a feel for where the service is best needed. Scout has seen nearly 20,000 riders from unexpected places. Okay. Well, that's good. Look, I'm glad that we have a new alternative. I think that's great. I'm just, again, I am skeptical of anything like this because I can see it easily being changed to something that we have to spend more money on and ultimately spend more money than we would have on a LYNX bus that was better routed or better system. I don't know, something. Anyway, on to some good news. And the reason that I actually bought a Costco membership last year is because I heard that there was a new Costco coming up, and the new Costco location coming to Sanford in early 2027 is official, says the officials. According to officials, it is official, like a referee with a whistle. So here we go. Let's see what these people are saying right now. So the new Costco, demolition of the site. Oh, so they're demolishing the Seminole Town. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Demolition of the new site at the Seminole Town Center is expected to begin in April of this year, with Costco opening by early 2027. Fox 35, this is out of Fox 35. They reported that in June that Sanford's new Costco warehouse will be approximately 156,454 square feet and will occupy the space of the former Macy's building adjacent parking lot. So, okay, so it's where the Macy's was. They're going to be putting that. That's great. So, the closest Costco location to us is the Altamont one. That's the one that I've been going to for years. But I got a new membership just now because of this particular this particular piece of news means that I'll be able to use it a little bit more. So I just don't like driving all the way to freaking Altamont for this, just to go to Costco. I barely liked riding to, I don't even like riding to Publix. Anyway, don't get me started on that. So finally, in case you were not aware, I will be starting a new segment on the show called the Sanford Sitdown Food Review. And instead of me just telling you about it, I'll just let you check out the video. Hey, this is Future Zwain, bringing you the first Sanford Sitdown Food Review.
Oh, yeah!
Now, when I recorded the sit-down a couple days ago, I got sick as a dog. Let's just say you wouldn't want me to do a food review. Now, full disclosure, I will be paying for all my own meals this series, but I've been around here a long time, and I'm friends with many of the people who make this delicious food, so I'll definitely tell you when I'm friends with the owners, or if I just met them that day. Another thing, I know that I'll probably get comped some food, and I will not be reviewing comped food. I would rather you pass it forward to my friends over at Ground Score Crew. If you don't know who they are, Greg Runge and the people at Safe Ground Sanford started an initiative to get our unhoused friends a hand up. You could check out more of their story by looking for Greg Runge and Greg Runge TV on all socials, or by just scanning this QR code. I've had a hankering for some fish and chips for a while now, and my friend Mike just reopened the Current in Sanford down the street from their original food hall spot inside Henry's Depot. Now, I've already had their lobster rolls and their Old Bay fries at the old spot. I want to know what their fish and chips game is like here.
I was expecting to not see Mike. I was kind of wanting to surprise him to do the food review without him knowing. Oh, hell yeah. Thank you. Just in time. Look at this. Look at this. Woo. You know, I say this one's going to be a food review, but like, I already know what these guys do. So I'm just going to tell you how good it's going to be. It's just going to be really good. I'll give it a rating, but here we go. Lemon on everything. I'm so glad I came here first. This is so good. Perfect texture on the shrimp. Oh man. Let's see how this fish is. Look at that. Look at how it just... So good. Man, I'm glad I ride bikes, because if I didn't, I'd be 500 pounds living in this town. So good. They don't make a bad thumb. The fish is nice and flaky. I don't even use the fork. I'm such a maniac. The total with the drink came out to about $30, but it was a half a pound of shrimp, an order of fish and chips. Not bad at all. These guys knocked it out of the park. I'm gonna give fried shrimp 8.5. 8.5. Ooh. All right. I like a good fried shrimp. I wish that it was coconut. Coconut shrimp is my favorite type of fried shrimp, but this was delicious. The Old Bay fries. As far as fries are concerned, these types of fries, I don't know what to call them, but the thinner fries, they're very, very good. Yeah. I got baby. Very solid. I love it. Fries are a fry 9, which is not the same as a shrimp 9, or a shrimp 8.5. Fry 9, I'm comparing it to fries to fries, shrimps to shrimp, fish chips to fish chips. We're going 9 for the fries. Again, I'm comparing fries to fries. Fries to fries in Sanford. One of the best fries in Sanford. Great, thank you. Oh, no, totally. Oh, okay. No, thank you. And the fish? 9.5. 9.5. The flakiness, the flavor, the fact that it doesn't lose its physical integrity when you put it in the tartar sauce, but it's not too tough. It's just like perfect. Chips 9.5, or fish 9.5, fries 9, the shrimp 8.5. Thank you for checking out the first Sanford Sit-Down Food Review. Who do you want me to review next in the city of Sanford? Let me know in the comments.
I think that that's going to do it for the show today. The next time that I do this show, I will be feeling 100%. Gotta talk to a man about a horse. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being part of this crazy little thing that I started. And yeah, peace.